All right, people of today, let's continue here with our beautiful microservice stack. A lot of stuff needs to be built. Hey, like I said, this is you're not gonna find this, right? You are the only ones having this documentation lesson at your disposal, right? All right, so we have this distance calculator here. So what I'm gonna do is we need to actually spin up this consumer loop, right? Let me quickly think about this, because I'm not quite sure if I wanna. What I wanna do here is. I'm thinking, guys. Like I said, I'm thinking here, trying to find something. Because what's going to happen is this service is going to have a business. In microservices, you're going to have a couple of stuff, right? You're going to have some transportation, which is basically how the data is going to get inside of your microservice. That's what I call the transport, right? Could be JSON, Kafka, whatever, proto buffers. But it's also going to have something like... it's also going to have the instrumentation and logging layers, right? But it's also going to have some business layer, right? And the business layer, we already know that's going to be this consumer, maybe. Consume data, I'm not quite sure. No, that's not going to be it. Guys, I know what we're going to do. We're going to kill this. We are going to... open up consumer. I know it, guys. Like I said, it suddenly came into my mind. So we're going to do that. So it's not going to be an interface this way. We're going to make this the consumer, the Kafka consumer, right? Because if you don't want to use Kafka for this, you could basically implement something else and use that. And you're going to see what I mean by that. So I'm going to call this a Kafka consumer, which basically... yeah, why not? Kafka consumer, which is going to be a structure. We're going to have the consumer here, which is going to be a pointer to a Kafka consumer. No, not Kafka consumer, Kafka.consumer. Just like that. And don't forget, guys, it's v2. Not quite sure why VS Code still sleeping. We're going to say func new Kafka consumer here. It's going to return a Kafka consumer. Yeah, a pointer. We're going to say return and Kafka consumer, perfectly fine. You're going to say consumer is going to be the C. Yeah, there is no C, but that's no problem. Calculator, because we are going to copy what we already made. We tested this, I think. Not quite sure if we tested it, but hey, it's going to work. No worries. We're going to paste that in, delete this. We're going to save here, kill this file. All right, so we got to have this thing. My group, we should have some, maybe we're going to say a topic here, by the way. Topic string, perfectly fine. Panic, that's not what we're going to do. We're going to return a consumer and an error here. See, error, we're going to basically return nil, R, right? Subscribe topics, that's going to be a slice of topic. What is this? Yoink everything in here. Basically, to be honest, delete everything inside of these brackets. It's not going to work. Delete inside things keys. Yes, fine. And that's going to be topic. Do we need a pointer? Probably not. A signal handler similar. Run through. That's fine. The client will automatically try to recover. Yada yada. All fine. This is our message. If the message is nil, otherwise this is this thing. I think I'm going to do something else. If R is not null, what are we going to do? I don't think we're going to close this for loop. I think we are going to say a logres. Maybe an error with fields, maybe. No, I think I'm going to do a logres error f, maybe. Kafka consume error We cannot do that, right? It needs to be like that. Percentage SR. Something like that. And then we're going to continue here because the reason is if we log out, if we basically panic out or something or return, then our for loop is completely gone and we're not going to receive anything anymore. Our transport is completely broken. We don't want that. I don't think I'm going to do this shenanigans here. I'm going to keep it simple. This is a message. Actually, to be honest, guys, this new Kafka consumer, stick with me here, stick with me. We're going to make func consumer, pointer to this Kafka consumer. And we're going to say handle message or something. No. Read message loop. I always tend to call my function names anything that's a loop, a read loop or a receive loop or whatever you wanna call it. I tend to basically append a loop on this function so we know, oh, it's a loop, right? Just like that. We're not gonna do this. We're gonna save that. We're gonna copy. Let's do this. Is running. Bool. Delete this. Copy this. Paste that in here. For C is running. What is going on? Subscribe topics, a handler. We don't need this shenanigans. We're gonna return null here. It's all fine. Kafka consumer. Did not prefix this, but is this not capital? Ah. Not capitalized. Read message. Of course, we see that's going. Ah, damn, that's annoying. C is running. C read message is going to be C consumer dot read message. This is the message here, and now we have a message here, right? This message is going to be bytes, if I'm correct. It's a Kafka message. How can we actually... what's value? Value is byte. That's nice, right? So this is the Kafka message. The value is the byte. So now we need to marshal this to JSON. And then we need to call... this is a Kafka consumer. Actually, to be honest, we could say Kafka consumer, Kafka transport maybe. This can also be called Kafka transport. Because the business logic here, actually, guys, the business logic is going to be abstracted. You will see where I'm going. You will see where I'm going. I hope this is clear. Like I said, it's a kind of bit of advanced, but if there are any questions, guys, don't be afraid to ask on the Discord channel. Don't be afraid, right? This is, like I said, if you know these concepts, guys, it's so important. Where's this, guys? What's going on here? The value is never used. Why not? Why not? Of course the value is used. C subscribe, and then we put C in here. Is this VS Code bugging once again? Nobody fucking knows. It doesn't matter. What's going on here? It's... Alright. Read message loop. So what we're gonna do... Maybe we could do something like this. Func... Consumer. Kafka consumer start. Let's make it public. Maybe we wanna... yeah, you never know. Logrus info Kafka transport running started, something like that, and then we're gonna say go. Are we gonna block? I don't think we're gonna. Do we need to block here? Maybe we do. So we're just gonna say read message loop. It's gonna be fine. I'm still not sure why this C problem-y thing is going out. Oh, but it's should return. I'm an idiot. Yeah, I see. If if R is not nil, we're gonna return nil R. Yeah, that's what we're gonna do. It's all fine. Now we are set. Now we are going, right? So if you go back to main in the calculator here, we're gonna say that the consumer or transport actually TS maybe Kafka consumer error is going to be new Kafka consumer with a topic. Can we make a const here? Const. We can't. Yeah, we can. In this case, we can. Remember that we didn't could create a constant topic for Kafka. It's going to be OBU data, something like that. Yeah. I'm going to put the Kafka topic in here. Fine. Error if R is not nil. Are we going to log fatal out? Maybe we can, because we can log fatal out here, because if we cannot construct a Kafka transport, then we cannot start the thing, right? And then we're gonna say something like Kafka consumer start, something like that. It's gonna block. Let me see if I can do this. Make calculator, I think. Okay, so we're gonna see Kafka transport started. For some reason, it's exiting. Why is that? It should block here. Oh, we're not running. Look at that. C is running. Is going to be true, right? Boom. All right. Kafka transport started. Of course, we are timing out. Why is that? Nobody knows. Why is that? It's all running. That's fine. Maybe we are fucked up here. Localhost. Is that what we want? Let me see real quick in producer. Where do we do that? It's with a group ID. Do we actually care about that? Can we delete this? Okay, we need that. Probably. Localhost. I'm thinking here. Is this localhost also? Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. I think we're fine. Actually, to be honest. Oh, wait, here. Topic. Can we do group ID? We can. That's partition shit, right? Yeah, I think it's fine. I'm not quite sure what's going on here with this consumer loop. I thought we... I don't think that's why they basically did this error like they did it, right? We changed this error up. I think it's going to be, let me see real quick here. Look at that. They did this as timeout. Ah, it's absence of a message. I see. Ah, that's what they do. It's basically, they're going to read a message, but if we don't receive one in a second, it's going to do this. Aha, we don't want that, right? We don't want to, let's copy this thing. We need to fix that. Time second. Actually, to be honest, let me read this. Read message polls the consumer for a message. This is a convenience API wraps poll and only returns yada yada. This will call block waiting for a new message. Timeout may be set to -1 for an indefinite wait. Okay. I like this approach. So that's what we're gonna do actually, to be honest. Can we do -1 here? We don't wanna wait. Like it's like it's a transport. We don't expect. We could expect one every second. Actually, it should be, but I mean, yeah. For this case, we don't gonna do that. Make calculator actually. All right. This is good. This is going in the right direction. So we're gonna start that stuff. Basically, we have a message here. We're gonna print a message out here. So that basically means that if we take, we need to have 3 of our thingies. We're going to say make calculator in the last one. Calculator, boom. Then we are also going to say make a receiver in the middle one. And then we're going to make OBU in the first one, right? So this is going to receive shenanigans. And now this should also start receiving this OBU data. Hopefully. We are producing here. So what's going on? What is -1? Did we actually... I think we made a mistake. Oh, no. You see, it's receiving. It's receiving. Yeah. Yes. You see? Or we are producing. We are basically receiving the WebSocket message from our OBU or trucks on the road. And we're putting that on a Kafka queue. And now our other service, the calculator, is basically receiving these data from our beautiful data producer receiver. Actually, we could call it producer. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It's working. So we have basically already 3 stuff linked up together, right? That's fine. We're going to delete this. We're going to delete everything here. That's fine. All right. Next on the chopping block, right, is... Now we have this consumer. Now we need to link our business logic inside of this consumer. That's what I think. Because, for example, listen. Back to the drawing board. Business calculator. Where are we? Yeah, here. So what's going to happen is we're going to have a transport, right? And this transport could be, for example, it could be JSON. It could be HTTP transports. That could be, for example, a gRPC transport. In our case, it's going to be a Kafka transport, right? Kafka. And what we're going to do, we're going to attach business logic to this transport, right? So that basically means that, for example, we're going to have a Kafka consumer, right? And we're going to attach our business logic to this consumer, which basically means that if we want to have an HTTP transport, we need to attach our business logic to that HTTP transport. So if we need to make new transports, we don't need to rewrite a lot of stuff. We just need to inject with an interface our business logic, right? It's very important to understand because we have Kafka consumer, but we could have anything. It could be gRPC and all that shenanigans, right? In our case, Kafka, right? So what we're going to do here is... I'm going to call this, let's call this service, service.co. I'm going to say package main. Oh my guys, help me. We're going to say type. We're going to call this calculator service. I'm so sorry guys. It's going to be an interface. Yes. Calculator service is going to be an interface. So what we're going to do is call a function. It's going to be calculate distance. What do we need actually? Oh, types OBU data. That's what we need. Types OBU data. That's the only thing we need. And then error. No. It's going to return us a distance, which is going to be a float 64, isn't that? A float 64. Does it need to return an error? It will need to return an error for sure. Just like that. That's our calculator service. Then we're going to make an implementation of that. We're going to say, for example, you could say, yeah, how are we going to call that? Service struct maybe. Func as service calculate distance. No, it's going to be types OBU data and it's going to return a float 64 error. Let's return nil. We cannot return nil for a float. Of course, we're going to say 00 just for the sake of. We're going to say fmt, just to let you guys know how it's going to work. fmt calculating the distance, right? Just like that. That's fine. Service, do we need to make a constructor? For example, new service. Actually, I don't like this thing. It's going to be, let's call it calc service. Because this is going to be the interface, calculator servicer. Maybe we're going to call it a servicer. Calculator servicer. And this is going to be, because it's an interfacer, remember, we like to end our interfaces with shrug. I know. So there's going to be a calculator service, not servicer, service, the implementation. And then we're going to say calculator service, which is going to return a calculator servicer. Remember the interface itself. That's what we're going to do. Man. New calculator service is fine. Calculator servicer. Let's return an calculator service. No things that needs to be in here. Now we're going to implement. It's going to be the calculator service. Yes, just like that. It's going to be fine. All good, all good. Okay, cool. Now we're going back to our consumer here, right? And our consumer is going to have the calc. Actually, it's going to say service. It's going to have a service here. The calc service, which is going to be a calculator servicer, right? We're going to say a new consumer at the topic, but also we're going to say that the SVC yeah, it's fine, it's fine. The SVC is going to be the calculator servicer, right? The interface. And we're going to say that the calc service is going to be this SVC, right? And you can already see what's going to happen, right? Because the calculator service, we're going to wrap that in with the logging. We're going to wrap that in with the metrics. We're going to wrap that in. We're going to basically make it like a mummy. You know what I mean? We're going to mummy it with all different layers that are basically completely independent of each other. And I swear to God, guys, this is not being taught. If you know this, you're gonna be so good. It's just so amazing. You know what I mean? This is how it happens, right? This is how it happens, and it basically excites me. You know what I mean? I don't know why, but it excites me that I can actually show this to you guys. I already made the video on YouTube, but it's just one. This is basically gonna be much more detailed, right? Okay, so we have this calc service here. So basically, each time we're gonna receive this message, we first gonna say if how do we do this? Basically, it's gonna be JSON Marshall. Is it Marshall? Unmarshall, by the way. Gonna be this if r. Gonna be JSON unMarshall. How does unMarshall work? Bytes and v. Bytes is going to be message value, and the type is going to be var data is going to be types.obu data, right? And data. What's going on here? And if the error is not null, we are going. This is important also. Once again, we are going to do a logres here, right? We're going to paste that in, and we're going to make it continue. We're going to say Kafka. Wait. Serialization error. We could actually call this JSON because we know it's JSON now. Basically, guys, very important to note that in production, so what we did in the company, if we made these things, we first use JSON. Why? It's easy to debug. Everybody can understand. It's so easy. No proto buffer, no compiling. It's easy. But if you go to production, once we went to production, once the whole architecture was set up, everything is working, test, all the shebang, it was deployed, and then we swapped out to proto buffers to make it fast, right? But that was basically months and months after it was already completely implemented, right? Keep that in mind. So that's this. This is going to be data, and now we're going to say if r is going to be c calc service, and we're going to say calculate the distance based on the data, right? And it's not, and the error is not null. We basically going to do again an error with a continue, and we're going to say service calculation error or something. I don't know. You guys can be, maybe we can make a better thing, right? But this is going to be it for now. Oh wait, we are actually wrong. It's going to be actually the distance itself. And I think we're going to do some changes here because I don't like to have everything inside of this loop. You will see what I mean by that, because we also need to do something with this distance, right? If as on we're going to continue here, distance is here, fmt println distance percentage 2f distance, right? Something like that. All right, that's that. Calc distance. So what we could do now basically is if you go main, what's going on here? Distance main, by the way. Kafka topic, we also need the service. So we're going to say our service var error svc is going to be calculator servicer. Yep. And then we're going to say that the svc r is going to be new calculation service. What do we need to put into this? Nothing. Okay, so what's going on then? In this case, we could actually do a log fatal out once again, because if this is not going to work, it's not going to work, we can fail out. What's going on with this calculator service? It's a calculator service search, perfectly fine. Let me see what the error is here. 2 variables, but only returns 1. Is that true? Okay, cool. That's actually even better. And then we put the service in here. I need to sneeze. I'm so sorry. All right, so now we have this. Now that is perfectly working. So let's do make OBU is going to let's start again with this thing, and we're going to say make calculator. Boom, fine. Then we're going to say make OB receiver. Boom, boom. Make OBU. Boom. All right, so it's calculating the distance. You see, it's already working, right? You see, it's calculating distances, but the problem is, actually, did we not do an error F here? No formatting. But we don't calculate anything, right? And yeah, we don't do anything because it's just testing out. But everything is working. We are calling our service, so it's all good. Let me open up main here. Is it consumer, I think? Calculating distance is going to be printf, right? The printf distance is going to be this / new line, right? Okay, so now what we need to do is calculate the distance. That's going to be our business logic, right? Distance calculator consumer service, maybe? Yeah, this one. So how are we going to do this? Well, it's going to be... what's going on here? Let me quickly see what's going on. I did actually, guys. I'm gonna do some cheesing actually here, like I said before, because I'm gonna do some cheesing. I'm gonna tell you what I did. It's drafts, probably something like that. So I'm gonna make a function calculate distance. It's going to basically calculate the distance between 2 points, and of course, I don't know this on the top of my head, so I basically already tried this, and I'm gonna type it out for you guys. Like I said, it doesn't really matter, right? It's gonna be calc distance. Like I said, don't get me mistaken, right? I'm an honest person, and I am not. It seems maybe that I'm a very, very smart person, and maybe I am in some kind of a way, but I'm not smart in a way of. Oh, I need to calculate the distance between 2 vectors. Oh, that's no problem. I will basically make this function right now because I know this. No, I don't, right? I don't. You know, it's, yeah. So I know how to do that, so I look it up. And then I implement it. You know what I mean? It's not that I know that. Like, oh, binary tree, no problem. Let me write one in the top of my head. It's not going to work, right? It's not going to work. Yeah. like I said, the only thing you need to know to be a good programmer, to be successful in life, is just knowing how and where to find things. That's the only thing. Calculate distance, just like that. So we're gonna give this guy, I think it's gonna be an x1, y1 coordinates, right? x2, y2. It's gonna be float 64, and we are gonna return a float 64, right? So what is gonna happen is it's going to be a mad squirt, square root, squirt, a mad squirt, and then we're gonna mad pow. Like I said, I don't know this off the top of my head, right? And it's gonna be the x2 minus x1, and there's gonna be 2 here, and then we are going to plus this with, again, the mad pow. It's basically the classic calculation of vectors, right? A distance thingy. It's gonna be y2 minus y1, I think. Also 2 here. Wait, stop. 2. That's it. That's gonna be it. Easy. You know what I mean? Is it a big of a deal? No. All right. So we're gonna calculate this distance. Of course, guys, these distances are not realistically. That's not the point, right? This is not a program. It's not a course about how to calculate distances, right? This is how to construct microservices. This is, yeah, doesn't really matter. So the distance is going to be calculate distance, data, and I think we made a mistake also with these data, to be honest. And you will see what I mean by that. Because we are wrong. Because it's basically a distance of 2 points, and it's sending. Yeah, guys, we need to do some extra stuff, man. It's bad. Yeah. So what's gonna happen, guys, here is this function is fine, but what's gonna happen is an OBU will send us data. For example, position 1, right? It's gonna be XY. Then it's gonna send us position 2 after a period of time, XY. Then it's gonna send us position 3, XY. So basically, how are we gonna do this kind of realistically, but not too realistically, right? The only thing we want is the distance he traveled. And I don't want to spend too much time on this because it's completely out of scope. It's just data, right? Because when I implemented this service back in the days, kind of the same service, it was the same concept, also the same structure, kind of. It was basically one of these services, like this distance calculator, was the C++ service, and it was basically a complete route calculator, right? It could calculate complete routes. You give it. It could also basically calculate, if you give 2 points, the perfect streets and all that stuff. And it was like a Google Maps. It was written in a router in C++. And that could basically calculate the distances of these points, right? But we're not going to implement that because it will take us months to implement that. You know what I mean? So what we're going to do is, just for the sake of this thing, is well, I have a good idea what we could do. So this is going to be the calculator service, right? So we could say points or location or data. Points is going to be a slice. What's going on here? Could be a slice of slice floats 64, right? Yeah. There's going to be something similar, right? There's going to be make me a slice. Well, 64. How many? How many are you gonna do? Infinite, and just append here. I don't think we're gonna do. We're gonna buffer that up for a couple of times, right? We're gonna fix that. We're gonna fix that. But first, let's make it work. So we're basically gonna store all these points, and if you want to calculate the distance, we're gonna calculate the distance between the previous point, if that makes any sense, right? Something like that is what we're gonna do here to make some kind of realistic shenanigans going on. So what we also need to do is s.points equals. I'm going to change this up later on because we don't want to append. We're going to get a lot of points, and if you keep appending, we're going to sit in memory problems. So we're going to basically do some kind of circular, some kind of a ring buffer, right? That's what we're going to do. As points, we're going to make a slice of float 64, and that's going to be data lat, data long. Yeah, something like that, right? We're going to say if len points is 0, right? We going to bigger than 0. Wait, you could do distance. I'm going to say pref point. Pref point is going to be s points len s points. It's going to be small point, by the way, -1, right? It's going to be the last point. The previous point is the last point. So we're going to say calculate the distance between the previous point, 0, which is the lat, previous point, 1, which is going to be the long, and we're going to calculate that with data lat and data long. That's the distance. We're going to set the distance here, by the way. We're going to append this point, and then we're going to return the distance here, right? What's going on? Did I make a fucking typo? Oh yeah, this needs to be... Alright. Something like that. What do you guys think? Is that gonna work? All right. let's see what's going on, right? Let's do a make calculator. All right, Kafka transport started. Let's make the receiver make. Let's clear it up. Make receiver. Boom. Perfectly fine. And make OBU, and let's see what's going on. Probably gonna bork out, but hey, it's what it is, right? Oh no, it's cool. Look at this. Baby! We gaming! Look at that, guys. Dopamine. Of course, these distances are basically completely out of thin air, right? It's random data. Nobody cares. But let's say it's going to be some kind of a distance, right? Maybe it's kilometers. Maybe it's meters. Who the fuck knows? It's something. It's data. And it's kind of working. I like that. I like this. I think... hey, I'm keen. What about you? I'm keen. And you can see, basically for me, this gives me already dopamine, seeing that work, right? So we have distances, right? Of course, like I said, this is basically not good implemented. We need to change this because now we're basically appending points all the time, but we're receiving these coordinates at the speed of light. So basically after 2 days, yeah, our RAM will be completely full of points. So we're going to make a ring buffer, right? Actually, to be honest, we don't need to cache these points. We could basically make it even simpler by just storing a previous point. That's maybe better. That's maybe better, right? So what do we need to do in the next lesson here? Well, we need to first of all do maybe some logging middleware and instrumentation. That's going to be later on, I think. But what we need to do is here in consumer like this. Then we have a distance, right? What are we going to do with these distances here? What are we going to do with these distances? Because we have our OBU sending data, we receive it, we put it on Kafka. The calculator is going to grab that from Kafka. And then we need to store these distances into some kind of an aggregator that will aggregate all these distances from these same OBUs, and it will aggregate all these distances, right? It's going to sum up these distances for a specific day, for example, and it's going to store that into something. So when we do a GET request on our gateway, on a UI, and we want to get an invoice, it can grab these distances, calculate an invoice, and return an invoice. I think that's going to be what we're going to do. But that's for later on. See you in the next episode.